Hey folks, thank you for joining me on the 19th of April for another Kickstarter roundup. Yes, so I thought there was not going to be many projects this month, but in the last, few days, there's been a bit of an influx of some of them, and there's a few that have been ongoing for about a week or so now, so there's enough to actually do a monthly roundup. Do I know much about these projects? In the case of a couple of them, I know a little bit from previous chats at Essen, but for the most part, no, as per usual, I go into these relatively blind so that I can get my first impressions on the project, see what kind of things are on the page, see if I get enough information that makes me want to look at it a bit more detail in the future. And this can be anything from the layout of the page to the type of game that it is, to the aesthetics, to what kind of stretch goals there are, even to what content creators have done content based on it, i.e. people who aren't just the usual few who do happy thoughts about everything, so I got my own criteria how I like to fool. So glasses on and screen on. Let's go on and have a look-see. So let's start off with Terminus. Now, why am I looking at Terminus? Mainly because it's from Inside Up Games, and if anybody's been paying attention to the gaming world lately, Inside Up Games did Earth, which has certainly gone over well with people, myself included. So naturally, anything from them is going to get some buzz. And what have we got? A game of subway building and resource management. Okay, is this going to be on the underground then? Free metal coins for all backers. That's nice, you get some aesthetic thing that nobody else does. So what do you do here? So your transit company has been hired to construct subway tunnels and stops connecting the districts of the cities. Will your project stay on track or go off the rails? Don't use jokes on me here. That's not a bad price. $55 is a good cost. I mean, they did Earth for about the same amount, $55, and considering how expensive a lot of Kickstarters are getting, I'm cool with $55 for a decent game with some half-decent components. And I mean, if you're going to get, 10 metal markers and 50 metal coins for free, that's pretty good going. That's a good deal. Question is the game any good? 2 to 5 players. Right, well, I'm going to assume it doesn't work at 5 because Earth didn't work at 5. So, I'm just going to assume this is a 2 to 4 player game. Let's see. Okay. It was interesting that it goes into a content creator before it actually tells me about the game. But what do we got here? So a rondel action loop, subway building. It's kind of giving me not so much on the underground vibes as much, but what's the one down there? Get on board. The flip and right from Yellow, based on the Japanese game. Let's make a bus route. So we got marketplace economy, resource management. Looks like there's quite a bit going on in here. VIII is giving his thoughts. It's really my type of game, a heavy type game with a lot of options and filled with difficult decisions. Well, that should be the case for every heavy game, frankly, but interesting that they've got his quote on this one. I'm interested in how they managed to do that, but okay. So, let's see, main board, tiles, markers, lobbyists, cubes. So, it looks like there's a decent amount going on. Yeah, this is definitely a heavier affair than Earth. So what have we got here then? So you get the Kickstarter gift, you get early delivery. This will easily probably be the best price. So what do you get here? So take an action, develop, construct developments to unlock new actions. And that's always pretty cool. Obtain private agendas, go public projects, improve and upgrades. The usual, purchase resources. Oh, drive the prices up. Oh, so it's got a kind of a Power Grid-esque resource market, eh? Alright, fine. Increase your capacity, build rails and stations, and I mean, why are you connecting a specific subway line? I'm guessing you have to go from A to B with some of these. 2-player automator. So what you play? So what's this? So what you play solo or included in the game is a 2-player automator mode with the following components. So is this a solo mode or is this just the automator? I'm not entirely sure. Learn Terminus, so they got a rulebook, fine. Oh yes, Paul Grogan did something with this recently. I'll have to go give that one a watch actually, because I haven't really paid much attention to this, and to be honest, he's the only person I really trust on that list. So I'll go watch Paul Grogan's video at some point to get more information. But what do we got here? So dual layer player boards, card upgrade, unique tokens. This is actually looking pretty sweet. actually. I mean, Inside Up Games did a really good job with Earth, not just from a good game perspective, but from a Kickstarter perspective. You know, they were pretty honest all the way through. They gave you a pretty good produced game for €55. Could have been better in a couple of aspects, like the soil pieces, but I'm sure somebody on Etsy will sort that problem out for me at some point. Reasonably good delivery. I mean, we're talking less than a year. Now, there will be a case of VAT issues, which is the problem. So, yes, $55 plus the VAT, but sadly that's Brexit's fault. But this looks pretty good, actually. I'm intrigued. I'm going to have a watch of Paul Grogan's video and find out what, see the playthrough. But this looks pretty interesting, actually. I might have to give this one a look, possibly even consider backing this one. Especially, I mean, yes, ignore the VAT issue, which we have to put up with all the time in the UK. This looks like you're getting quite a bit of content and quite a bit of meat for $55, particularly with the metal coins. So, yeah, I'm genuinely intrigued. Not saying that because I like turf, you know. I mean, certainly when you make one good game, it makes me interested to see, okay, well, what else are you doing? And this looks cool. I'm up for looking at this. Alright, what do we got here? Teotihuacan, the City of Gods Deluxe Master Set. Now, I own everything to do with Teotihuacan at the moment. And I have not pulled this out for a good 4+ years. Because it's too bloated. And I do like the game. I do think the game is genuinely a really good game. But the problem is that I've got all the expansions in it. And it bloats the game up so much that I can't be bothered to separate it all and relearn all the rules, because I haven't played it in so long. I have to do a full teach of this if I'm going to learn it, and I just don't know if I want to spend that time learning it, because it's going to be a heavy game, all mechanical, no theme, so it's just going to be a case of learn a ton of rules. And I don't know, maybe I've just kind of thought, you know, I've had my time in it. Maybe there's just other heavy games I'd rather play. But, okay, so we got a deluxe set, which is going to include everything. Now, it does mention about, upgraded resources, so I'm sure that'll be good. Long-awaited 5th player expansion. Who is awaiting a 5th player expansion for this game? Are you serious? This game is like a 2.5 to 3 hour game with 4 players easily. And you want me to stick a 5th player in here? How about sod off? Honestly. Long awaited my butt. Who long awaited this? I mean, I get the idea that people want 5th players for, like, families of 5 and stuff like that. That's usually with family games. I'm willing to let, like, Cascadia off for having a 5 to 6 player expansion in the works for the expansion that's happening, alright? I'm willing to let that one off, because that's a family game, not a 3-hour Euro that's going to take forever. This game's going to drag on like crazy with 5 players. Alright, well, that blemish aside, what else we got here? So, tailor-made tray. Well, it better have a good tray. It needs to have very good setup, because one thing I do notice about this game is that it is somewhat on the hefty side when it comes to setting it up. And I've got baggies and upgraded components and all sorts, so interesting to see. Now, I know Paul Grogan's done some work on this as well. In fact, he did a live stream the other day, actually, on the last day of Bacon. I was downstairs chatting to people, so I wasn't on that stream, but, he has done one. Special edition, gameplay all in, so you get new components, basically. Double-sided alternate art. Not that there was much art in the game to begin with, frankly. Baggies for the tokens now. I mean, that's good. I think that's mainly being done, though, because people have already done their second-hand versions of the... Well, second-hand, you know what I mean. Second-hand market, outside market for... Secondary market, that's it. For these, and I've actually got a bunch of these bags for the game already. So, other than just giving you some alternate art, is there any real major upgrade? These resource tokens do look pretty sweet, I gotta admit. I'm sure they've maybe upgraded the quality of some of the cardboard. And of course, you've got all these different things like the player powers and the orange temple and more starting setups, which I always like. And then the completely pointless expansion period. Seriously, I've got the expansion period expansion. I have never taken it out of the box. It's just too much bloat at this point. I mean, look at all this stuff. I'd have to... Trying to learn how all these different bits work and interact would just become a chore for me right now. And Board and Dice have not put out a decent game for me in a long time. So it's not like... I mean, granted, this is probably the best game they have put out. In fact... No, it's not a maybe. This is the best game they have put out. You know, one of their originals. But I don't know. Do I really want to dive back into this rules-wise? And even then, it's not going to be cheap. I mean, I don't care about promos. I don't care about 5th player expansions. Nobody's asking for that. Playmats, though, would be quite cool. You know, playmats would be nice. So, compared to the standard version, what have we got here? So, new illustrations and graphic design. Yes, it does look like they've actually added some wretched color on the board, thankfully. Okay, double-sided board, so basically just there to see which one you like the look of. But yeah, I gotta admit, they certainly have upped the color of this, so it's gonna look much more prettier on the table. And, oh, player boards. Okay, I like this. I like these. These are pretty sweet. And player aids. Oh god, does it need player aids. It really does. And most cardboard components upgraded to wood. Heat print deluxe components. New custom dice. Bags. Okay, fair enough. You are certainly getting your money's worth here. Okay, fair enough. Well, I mean, we already know how the game plays, so I don't need to see too much more on that. Alright, fine. So what are we talking? 119 euros. It's not cheap. Although, hang on a minute. What's the 179 one here? 179. All-in pledge. So what's this one? Along with the brand new 5th player expansion and great quality play mats. So, main board, sideboards, and a set of player mats. Additionally, you will get enough sleeves. Can I have the pledge without the 5th player expansion? I mean, 119 doesn't sound too bad. What's this? If you want to upgrade your copy of the game, this is for you. So it's just... Alright, so this just gives you the box with the insert and the upgrades. That's pretty cool. I like the fact they've done that. I mean, that's a very tempting thing to get. Set of double-sided playmats. Okay, so... Oh, wait. So, 29 for those. 29 for those. You can just get the box. To be fair, it actually badly does need a big box, so I would even be tempted to go in just for that. I mean, it's not bad. I would be tempted to get the 119 euro box if I was just trying to get everything for there, but I would want those playmats. Playmats are cool. So I would have to pay 58 euros to get it without that pointless expansion. And 58 euros, I mean 120 to 180, 60, so it's basically the exact same amount of money if I want the 5th player expansion or not. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. Alright, well, it does look cool. It does look really nice, and I can probably see that a load of people are going to be backing this like crazy. I mean, we've got there 12 backers, 3 backers, but yeah, beauty. So 200 people want the beauty pack, 774 want the deluxe master set, and 671 want the all-in pledge. I was expecting more, to be honest, but I don't know. This is a good game. I just don't know if I want to spend all the time learning how to play it again, you know, with all the bloat that it's got. I think this is one of those games that I feel just needed a bit of streamlining to really make me want to come back to it over and over and over again. I did really enjoy it at first, but the fact that I have not wanted to pull it off the shelf in a long time, mainly because of the rules, it has to speak volumes. You know, will I like this new version? Maybe I'll have to... I mean, it's not like the rules have changed, and this was just a prototype that Paul Grogan was playing through, so I don't know how much that's really going to tell me. You know, people have been online, you know, because Board and Dice have got some favourites in terms of content creators. They've certainly been online to talk about this. I'm sure it will look great. Do I like the game enough that I would want to buy a whole new edition, though? I've done this already with things like Snowdonia and regretted doing it because it just sits on my shelf and doesn't get played. Would this just be the same thing? I don't know. Gonna have to think about this one. Alright, Mindbug. Mindbug Beyond. I have not played Mindbug at all. No, I haven't. I have not played Mindbug. In fact, the designers, or the publishers, I forget, have got into contact with me asking if I wanted to do anything for this Kickstarter. Sadly, there was just way too little time to get anything done in time for this Kickstarter to finish. It was not going to happen. So what they are at least doing, though, is after seeing my 2-player series, they're sending me the base game. So I will actually get a chance to play normal Mindbug, base set, 2-player, and give a full review on it. So yeah, I'll be doing that in the future as soon as I get the copy. I'm intrigued because, I mean, this concept of Mindbug sounds cool. I don't know, I mean, these new mechanics fair enough. I mean, the game should not be too bloated. If the game is trying to be a simple two-player game, you don't want to add too many more mechanics and keywords in it, because then you just run the risk of effectively like overcomplicating it. But it's a pretty cheap game. It looks nice artwork-wise. Wow, 90 euros? What on earth do you get for your 90 euros in this? So, go everything, get the 2 new expansions, an ultimate storage selection, 2 functional playmats. Okay, so the cost does ramp up a bit if you're not careful. Or is that... No, that's a Swarm pledge. So yeah, I was reading it right. So a normal pledge, 35 euro. Well, that's not bad. Maybe 55 you want to get a few extra little additions. So, not the cheapest game in the world, but still... I mean, I have no idea if the game's any good. I've heard some good things about this. I'll obviously pass judgment on whether I would want to get the expansions for this once I've had a chance to play the actual game. But at this point, all I can really say is that if you're into Mindbug, then I don't see why you wouldn't want to invest in this Kickstarter, because frankly, you know, it's more of the same. It's an expansion to a game you already like, so... who am I to say otherwise? But yeah, I look forward to getting my copy in the post and actually giving this one a try, because people have mentioned this one even on my 2-player list, saying, Luke, have you played Mindbug? And I never saw it in retail, therefore I never got it. I don't even know if it even came out to retail, or if it was just simply a Kickstarter thing. But, oh well, you know, I look forward to seeing it. Actually, Marvin Hegan. Oh yeah, I think it was Marvin who actually got in touch. So yeah, I'm curious. So I'll let you know more once I get the game and do a proper review on it. I'm fingers crossed. I'm hoping that this will be a pretty good, fun 2-player game. We shall see. Alright, The Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era. 3.5 million. And of course, you know 2 reasons why it's got 3.5 million, because of 2 things. Firstly, it's called Elder Scrolls, and anything Elder Scrolls related is going to have a massive fan base. I'm okay with Elder Scrolls. I'm not like massive on it. I mean, the new Skyrim game from Adephius was nope. But also because it's Chip Theory Games. Now, that tells me a few things about this. Firstly, it's going to be huge. This thing's going to be like huge in terms of play length. It's going to be huge in terms of box size, of component size, of scope and bloat. You know, I mean, this looks small from this picture. Oh wait, oh no, here's a bunch of player sheets and here's a bunch of cards. Yeah, I guarantee it's not going to be an easy play, this one. But, being Chip Theory Games, it's also going to look gorgeous. You know, they're going to have a lot of dice. They're going to have, you know, dual layer, yep, they're edge stitch mats. So yep, it's going to have the usual character mats, just like they did with Too Many Bones and Cloudspire and all that. And Burn Cycle, which I no longer have. I sold it because I just never was going to get the game played. It was just too... I like Burn Cycle, I like the game, but it was just too complicated. There's too many rules to deal with, too much going on, and a solo game still took you forever to play. And I kind of got bored with the whole thing of, yeah, you've got all these different robots to control, but in essence, all you're really doing, especially when you get to the final boss, who can track you down no matter where you go, is you're basically playing red light, green light with the boss. So you sort of go, oh, he's going over there. Whoop, I don't know he's going over there. Whoop, no, he's going over there. And that just gets a little bit repetitive doing that all the time. So I eventually sold it on. Do I have much interest in this? No, not really. I mean, I'm not that big into the Elder Scrolls. I like Skyrim and that was about it as a video game. But this again, I mean, look at this. Enemy in Quest Unit Skills Reference. Side A. Does that mean there's 2 sides for this? But look at this. All these keywords I got to learn, and then you got all these skill references for all the different like weapons you can use, and all this iconography, and all the chips, and all these other books. I don't know. This just feels like it's going to be another one of these bloated games that they do. You know, they'll do. It will look great. It will be well produced, and it will be a good like gamefound Kickstarter, whatever you want to call it. It will be a good funded project. So there is no doubt that you're going to get your money's worth in this, and it's going to be great for those who are fans. But the maps do look a bit generic. I mean, it kind of gives me a kind of almost a cross between Journeys to Middle-earth and Gloomhaven. They don't look like particularly interesting maps. But more stretch goals. Sorry, I needed to take a little cough there. All right, what do we got? So pick a race. So, yeah, the Argonians, good lizard people, high elf, dark elf, wood elf, Khajiit. So, yep, all the classic races from the game. The artwork's going to be great, but, I mean, God, this page is long. I mean, do I actually know how to play the game? I have no idea. It's giving me the various different abilities and that, and sort of features of the game, but don't ask me how you actually play it. Oh, here we go. This is it. I think finally we get to it. Ah, yes, a bit of gameplay. So, you roll dice. The problem is, I don't know. I don't think this is going to be one that I'm just going to be too interested in. I mean, you roll dice, place it in your cooldown track, refresh this dice. Switching battle forms will cause your cooldown to fill with fatigue. Even roll misses. Okay, fine. I mean, it doesn't look that great. I know these chips are great quality in that, and they've got some decent artwork, but it does look very plain. I mean, this map looks pretty plain, and just basically having a chip with a bunch of very rubbish looking plastic red chips underneath it. I didn't like the way they looked in Too Many Bones, and if there's the same thing here, I don't like the way they look here. So, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot here. There's a ton to absorb, and I don't have... Oh, God, an expansion? For crying out loud, your game's big enough already. Why don't you see how good the game is first before you call it an expansion? Because it blatantly isn't an expansion. It's just more content you want to shove in your face now. I don't know. It's going to be fun for loads, but I mean, again, look at this. $195 plus shipping plus VAT. It's just another mammoth cost for another mammoth game. Is there not enough mammoth games out there? Can we just reel it in back a bit, please? So, yeah, I mean, maybe this will be fun, but I'm just not that interested. Thorgal, the board game. So I know a little bit about this, not much, but basically Joanna at SM gave me a little bit of a rundown on this. This is apparently based on I think it's a comic series or a storybook series. Same people who I think wrote like the Tintin books and that. I could be wrong, but basically it's following. Where has it got? I was hoping it would say something about like the history or what it's based on, but it is based on an actual story series. And so it's a cooperative storybook adventure game, and you go on a series of adventures with these specific characters of 7 standalone scenarios. So the scenarios do not form a campaign, nor do they have any legacy features. Great. Thank God. I'm sick and tired of everything having to be a campaign, but here you can just play the scenarios. Great. Now, are there going to be some scenarios that are going to be so boring and so light that you're not going to want to play them ever again, so you're only going to play the heavier ones? I don't know. But, you know, I am definitely down for anything that is just scenario-based, not campaign-based. Do I know anything about Thorgal in this storybook series? No, I don't know a thing. I know nothing about this. So, you know, will it be good as a game? No idea. I mean, Portal was, you know, not had a lot of great releases lately, but it'll be interesting to see. Although €85 is not the cheapest price for it, and I'm curious what you actually get in it. I mean, a wooden marker, some miniatures, another adventure. I mean, more adventures is good. So, what else do you get? Come on. I mean, this is stretch goals. So what's in the box? So you get an Atlas, some adventures. So 7 adventures plus a couple of new ones. Cool. Book of Tales, yes, because it is a storybook adventure. Adventure sheets. Characters. Skill cards. A few miniatures, so not many. Events. Terrain. Enemies. Action cards. I mean, if this isn't too complicated... polyomino tiles. What's that supposed to be for? Used as journey and wound tiles. Oh yeah, that'd be interesting. Oh, sorry, the laptop's over there making a noise. Okay. I mean, it's interesting. I think a lot of this is going to come down to the rulebook. Now, Portal, your rulebooks have not been great in the past, so make certain you get somebody to really proofread this rulebook. Remember the shabacle with the last solo campaign you did for Empires of the North? Yeah, that didn't go too well, did it, with regards to your rulebook and errors and stuff like that. You need to get that correct for this, because if you don't, it's going to kill the experience stone dead. You need to have a good rulebook. It needs to be checked. It needs to translate to English well, you know, from Polish. And if you can pull that off, you'll have a good fun game on your hands. But if you don't, I think people are just going to write it off as being another one of those games where errors and production issues get in the way of the experience. Now, will this be fun? I don't know, but I like these types of games. The setting sounds interesting. I mean, a lot of these are, I think Europe, Man vs. Meeple, get Tantrum. So it's the usual suspects. I'm not sure who Board Game Coffee is. I'm not quite aware of them, and Geek Factor. But I mean, I don't know anybody else who's done any content on this. Fulfilling starting next year. Wow, okay, shipping's a little bit on the high side. I mean, United Kingdom, €23 just for the base pledge. And that's on top of the €85 plus VAT. Well, hang on. Ooh. Friendly shipping to the following donations, including UK. So no further VAT. Oh, okay. I mean, that sounds cool. I'm not sure how they're getting around that, but so okay. So we're looking at 27. That's probably why the shipping's so high, because it's including it in there. But you are talking about 110 odd euro for this. That does seem mighty expensive, but we'll see. I'm curious to see if this will work out. I think Portal deserve another hit. You know, they deserve to have a hit after a little bit of a hiatus. So, and the whole palaver with the late delivery of the Robinson Crusoe one is not helping them in a PR sense at the moment. So maybe Thorgal can be their knight in shining armor. We shall see. All right, let's get some ginger tea down my throat. Lovely, lovely. All right, next up, I think the next few are going to be pretty quick. Santorini Co-op and Deluxe Pantheon Edition. I like Santorini mainly for its aesthetics. The game itself is fine if you play it with 2 players. I never understood why you would play it with 3 or 4. You throw in the god powers though, and the game becomes a bit unbalanced. It certainly makes it more interesting, but there are some god powers that just straight up kill other god powers. And so there's not really a reason to want to play the game with a lot of those in there. It just, I know some people love it, but I feel that the game is just best played as a 2-player abstract without the god powers. But the problem is it then gets a bit repetitive, even though the aesthetics are beautiful. I mean, I would really love to go visit Santorini. I visited Rhode Island before. I went on a holiday there with an ex-girlfriend for a week, and that was glorious. So I would certainly like to give Santorini a visit, just to see these buildings, these blue top buildings, because everything I see in the pictures is great. So what's this new edition then? So new gods, revamped rules, and new components. So remastered buildings, yeah, they do look a bit more interesting. New god powers. Does that mean you've balanced the other ones? Oversized board, storage trays, and an expansion. What is this? A 1 to 4 player co-op expansion with an adventure book and unique scenarios. I am intrigued. Like, very intrigued as to see what exactly is going on here. So what have we got here? Play the Sphinx's game. Play the Sphinx by rolling a die, pushing your luck. Roll a block and you gain it. Oh, is this what this is? Oh, I see. Okay, so uses the same rules, but what it makes you unique is that you must work together with a limited supply of blocks to complete 3 increasingly difficult objectives that are unique. So you move and build with a shared stockpile using some gods. Okay, so it's basically a co-op abstract game with some scenarios to change up some of the rules. Cool, I guess. So, do you have to order them both separately? Because that's $65 just for the Pantheon edition. So, do you mean that you've got to pay $100 and something for all of it? What does it say? 65, blah, 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 blah. Upgrade kit. And that. So, if you want the whole thing, 1 copy of that, 1 copy of that. 147 Canadian dollars, about £90. It's quite expensive for what is essentially a 2-player abstract game, because I know it says 1 to 4 players in the box, but trust me, you don't want to play Santorini with 3 to 4 players. Now, would the expansion be better with 3 to 4 players? I don't know, but is that going to be enough? So, decent artwork. It's a Roxley game, so it's going to be done very nicely. More card expansions. Okay, great. Rule sheet. So the tower pieces look a lot better. Yeah, more details on the doors and the windows, so they do look really nice. I like the difference in the workers. That's pretty cool. I mean, Santorini is a decent game. It's just not one that's bowled me over. You know, it was a lot of a lot of focus on the aesthetics over the game, but I still think the game is solid enough. So the question is this going to be worth 100 plus quid in order to buy everything for it? I'm not convinced I would want to spend £100 on this thing, especially when you were able to get it quite cheap on the mass market. It didn't have the same like necessary level of component quality, but you still got the game. This one's asking you to pay about 4 times what that one was in order to get this. So is it worth it? I don't know. You know, we'll just have to see. And I don't need to know the awards and accolades for your other games. The awards and accolades for Santorini is more important. And to be honest, I'm not a fan of Steampunk Rally. Steampunk Rally takes way too long to play. Radlands is pretty decent. It's a good little 2-player game, and the less said about Brass, the better. Alright, well, we'll see. I mean, I don't like it enough to want to invest in it. But if you haven't jumped in on Santorini and you want kind of like a nice looking version, then you could go to run. And 650 grand is a lot of cash raise. 7,700 backers. It's certainly got a popular following. You know, so what do I know? Very quickly, Paperback 10th anniversary. Alright, I like Paperback. Alright, Paperback is a really cool sort of word deck building game. Haven't played it in a while. I mean, it's got a solo mode in it, but typically mainly you want to play it 2-player, because if you play it with more than 2 players, the game just drags on. So, a new edition of it. So, new starting decks. Cool. Yeah, I feel like it could use some. New genre mode. Gives players unique tech trees. Ooh, I like that. That sounds cool. Quick pace deadline variant. Allows drafting to paperback and allows for zippy simultaneous play. That will be good. This game needed some fixing in order to make it good with 2 players. So anything that you can make it better with multiplayer certainly lets me, gets me interested. Typos let you nab that card that's just out of reach. Want to play solo? Good. Okay, cool. I like the solo mode thing. Several cards have been updated to create a more balanced offer. Unlockable cards and a classic variants. And Typewriter was... What is this? Oh, this is a separate game. Alright. So, use your starting tiles. At the end of each round, you'll grab a shiny new tile. You can start spelling out your next word. But every time you spell a word, you'll flip all the tiles in that word, revealing new letters and a completely new puzzle. Oh, okay. I mean, that looks quite cool, and you get different abilities in that. I like the sound of that. That seems like quite a cool little game. Hopefully with a solo mode in that as well. Ooh, what do you get in this deluxe version then? So, that's that one. 1 to 5 players. They better have made the simultaneous play good, because playing this game with 5 players in its current form, even playing this game with 4 players in its current form, is probably the dumbest thing you can do. Alright, so what you got there? So, playmats. Okay. New double-sized box. Yes, because I know the other one is not a nice small box, but it's a little bit maybe too small to fit everything in it. Metal tokens, don't really need. Don't care about foil cards. Jewel air, genre tiles, whatever. Card sleeves. Apart from the... Sorry. Blimey, I think I've had a long day of work today. Apart from the box and the mats... Not seeing a huge amount there that gets me involved. And they got some different art cards and that. So, I mean, this could be interesting. How much are they charging? 29, 32, 57 for both. So £46 and you can get one sounding good game and one actually good game for £46. Well, that's pretty good. 68 would get you the Paperback Limited. So to get everything including Typewriter and the Paperback Limited, you need to spend £75. That's quite expensive on top of what is, let's see, anybody I trust that can back me up on this? Not even heard of half of those. Tom Vassel's done a review on this, but yeah, what have we got here? So, Deluxe and Typewriter, $11 to ship. That's pretty cheap to ship it, although plus 20% to VAT. So you are still talking probably a good £100 for this if you get the Deluxe and everything. Maybe the Deluxe edition isn't quite worth that money, but I'm intrigued about Typewriter. I think I would like to try out Typewriter on retail release and see what it's like. And honestly, the changes they look like they're making to Paperback sound pretty cool. I would probably like to get it on retail release. I mean, what does it say? You'll be getting the game at a discount. You'll also receive it before its general release, but that's about it. So, yeah, I think I'll wait for this on retail. But if you're into paperback, or sorry, if you've been interested in paperback, I recommend giving this game a look because it is a really cool game. And these improvements sound like good improvements. And I'm intrigued to see how Typewriter goes. So, yeah, there you go. Give it a look. Pioneer Rails. Now, Duanda Games asked me to do stuff for Solar Sphere. They didn't ask me specifically on Pioneer Rails, and that's probably because of two things. Firstly, it's a flip and write game. Not exactly been the kindest on flip and write games lately, with one or two exceptions, and it's also got trains in it. And to be fair, you're correct to have a little bit of hesitation about sending me your game if it involves trains as a theme, but given that it's a flip and write, I think we'll gloss over the fact that it's got trains in it. I mean, I like Village Rails from Osprey Games, and let's face it, who the hell cares that it's got trains in it? It doesn't really make any difference. Alright, so, £19 though, very cheap, but then it's a flip and write game, so I shouldn't expect to pay that much. Alright, what have we got here then? Okay, Railroad Network Building, flip and write set in the Old West. I hate this 1 to 80 player nonsense. Okay, what have we got? So, well, it looks colourful. I mean, it certainly does have that Wild West feel. Nice bright yellows. Where you'll choose poker cards to expand your rail lines while also building your poker hand. I'm listening. I'm listening. I like the poker thing. Well, it's got trains in it. Of course, Chris, he's going to like it. What have we got? Let's see. That's what they've designed before. God, the Guild of Merchant Explorers. I have not played that game, but could you make your game look and sound any more boring? Right, so what have we got here? So you'll choose poker cards and use them to expand your tracks from the 4 suits stations, trying to connect as many of the surrounding features. Some of them give you points and bonuses. You'll cross off various things. Okay, that's kind of normal. And you'll get bonus points for various other bits. Okay, so you just get a pad of 80 sheets. What do we get? 20 playing cards. Oh, so not loads. I mean, I was kind of expecting like a whole deck of cards, almost like Western Legends type thing. But then I guess it's a flip and write. I should probably tailor my expectations back on that. Essential Edition. So an additional pad of 80 sheets. Oh, wow, I was going to say it's a different map. Cool. I was going to say, if it was just the same map, I don't think I'm going to be playing this 160 times. More gold cards, companies expansion. Just call it a base game. It's not an expansion. Or here's a better thought. Why don't you just don't put expansions in your game and wait for the game to do well and then release expansions? Okay, yeah, Slicker Drips has done something on it. And to be fair, he is correct. He has played tons and tons of flip and write games or flip and fill games. It's kind of one of the things he likes doing. As a solo player, he likes them a lot more than I do. So, you know what, if you're going to give anybody some credit and get a decent opinion on them, then by all means, although hopefully that doesn't mean that he just likes it because it's flip and write. Okay, stretch goals, a new map, card stock. So not tons of stretch goals. But to be honest, it's a small publisher. I've met the guy. They're very nice people there. Yeah, there we go. Aidan Lofer. He's a very nice bloke. And Solar Sphere and Solar Sphere and Solar Storm were decent games actually. I preferred Solar Storm, the little one. It was kind of pandemic-y, sort of Forbidden Island-esque, but that was a neat little game. That was, certainly did the job. Solar Sphere was decent. I would certainly play it again. Not one that I wasn't bowled over by it, but I thought it was decent. I think I would rather play Solar Storm. I just like that kind of small card game, small card game co-op. That was the one that I preferred out of the two. I haven't played Isle of Trains, though. I'll have to give that one a look. But you know what? I mean, simultaneous turns, so little downtime, good. Although the problem is, if this is going to be one of those things, does that mean that there's no player interaction? Because it just says multiple paths to victory. Well, it says interactiveness through crafting poker hands, but I mean, that's going to be the thing. Because if this game is just simply going to be like another one of those simultaneous play flip and writes where the other players have no purpose being in the game, then what's the point? You might as well just call it a solo game. Oh, maybe there are more poker cards. I mean, there's more poker cards there than it suggests, but it only said 20 back there. I don't know. Playmat, probably won't need those. Yeah, you don't really need those. More sheets. So players choose one of 3 poker cards. Okay, cool. writes the value of their selected card, use the suit of the card to extend the wellway, check if any features are done after doing so, activate powers, score goals. And then at the end of the round, score your poker hand. So you're going to be... So you're getting points for doing a really good poker hand, but also building the route. I mean, that seems pretty cool. The solo mode plays in the same way as the base game, except for discarding rather than the dealer taking a card and you getting a target score. But this kind of says to me that there isn't really a lot of interaction in this game. And again, I mean, it says solo or multiplayer, delivers in spades. I mean, this game doesn't really sound like the multiplayer aspect is even there. This sounds like another solo multiplayer solitaire game. So maybe it's a really good solo game. But, you know, I'm not getting any... Sarah's done her usual 1 minute overview. You can give that one a look. Sugar Drips, fine. Say no. Oh, Mark Dainty. Oh, yeah, Mark Dainty's done, obviously. I mean, it's a solo game, so naturally he's going to take a look at it. So, have a look. And let's see. Okay, yeah, that's about it. All right, fine. I mean, it certainly had a lot of people look at it. Not me. But then, to be fair, I wouldn't have jumped over the moon trying to grab this because it's a flipping right game and trains are a theme. So, yeah, it kind of makes sense that I wouldn't be the first person to. Not to mention I'm also the one who's a little bit more, shall we say, critical about these things. So, naturally, that scares off a lot of people. But, nah, I mean, this looks interesting. I would certainly give it a try. I'll wait for a retail release and I'll, give it a play. I mean, well, this obviously won't fun. This ain't gonna come out until next year, is it? So this blatantly this isn't gonna happen until next year. So it's not gonna be UK games. Oh, here we go. Timeline. So again, end of the year, start of next year, it'll fulfill. So game releases are generally pretty bare bones in early part of the year. So I don't know. I'll give it a look at that point. Cheapish price, very cheap shipping, VAT free in the UK. So, yeah, you're certainly getting your money's worth. Give it a look. I'm intrigued. And then finally, very quickly, the only reason I'm even looking at this project is because that cover looks gorgeous. And I'm on a bit of a roll with nature games after just doing my top 10. So I was just curious to see what could create such nice artwork. A strategy game where you take on the role of foragers as you gather ingredients, upgrade your skills, complete recipes, and serve guests. Sounds like a very nice, charming theme. Okay. Very nice artwork. Wow, that is beautiful. Those are some good aesthetics. Not sure what the style of artwork is. This is different from a lot of stuff I'm seeing. But yeah, everything about this is screaming color and charm. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, this is looking nice. Ooh, I love these. Oh, these are making me hungry. I want that omelette. I want that noodle salad. I wouldn't say no to a raspberry soda. These are very nice illustrations. From the makers of Keystone North America. I have no idea what that game is or if it's any good. I don't recognize this publisher either. Rose Gauntlet Entertainment. They're completely new on me. Okay, so what have we got here? So you get the board. You get scoreboards, location, library boards, 4 player boards, wood meeples, wood trackers, action tokens, source tokens, lots of ingredient tokens, cards. 48 guests, 48 recipes. So maybe replayability is so-so, but $50 is not the most expensive to pay for it. And, oh, wait a minute, 50 basic. So in order to get the wooden ingredients and the wooden sources and all the free expansion packs, which again should just be in your base game, you got to pay $125. That sounds like a lot of money. I mean, this sounds a bit like Flamecraft levels of unnecessary money. And you know that you're going to want these premium ingredients because stuff like this always looks nicer. I mean, I get if you want to not put this in the game and you want those as add-ons, fine. But, I mean, these are tiny little... I mean, look at this. Yeah, you've just basically put a few cameos in there. You've put a few random people from the community in there. And... a mixture, because I mean you've put these cards in there. Why didn't you just throw them into the base game? Why do you have to charge $10 each? These 3 together are not worth the price of an entire game. Just throw them in the box, put them as stretch goals or something. Put some value into your game. And these are just plushies and lore books, fair enough. Okay, so what do we got here? So nice. Oh right, that's the wooden source box. Okay, so how does the gameplay work? So that's not really explaining it. So choose your action. Oh, I see. Okay, fine. Power up with skills and rest. Wow, okay, this is really not explaining a lot about how to play the game. You're just saying what the actions are and that you rest. I mean, that's really telling me jack. I'm going to have to read the rule book to see what this is like. And literally nobody else I don't know, maybe I could give Board Game Garden a watch. I might give her a thing to see if her preview explains anything, but nope, and nope. So I don't know what to really think about this. A solo storybook. Is this really a game that's screaming out a solo story? I mean, again, not every game needs a solo mode. Hard to say. It's going to take a while to come out, not till next May. It's hard to say. I mean, this is the equivalent of kind of like an indie publisher, you know, one that I don't know a lot about. But the game sounds very charming. It looks beautiful. I mean, this is gorgeous. I love this artwork, and I think the aesthetics are going to really bring this out. How good is the quality of these tokens in cardboard form? I'll have to see, but it makes me want to get the wooden tokens because they will look awesome on the table. But is the game good enough to warrant such a high price to get those things? That's what concerns me. I mean, it doesn't look like the most... I mean, what are you supposed to do? So you've got to get the... So you got to serve the guests, who naturally have probably got some bonus or something, that they want specific types of food. So you got to collect these ingredients somehow, trade them in for the card. So it's basically going to be like Splendor with a board. So it's kind of more like Parks then, I guess. And then you basically just have a two-step process. So it's not just get tokens for cards, it's get tokens for cards, which are then used to settle for cards. It's an extra step. It's slavery with extra steps. So... I don't know, is this going to be fun enough mechanically to justify a high price tag? It does look beautiful though. Oh, I've only got 3 hours left as I record this, so you might have to get this on late pledge funding. I don't know. I'd be interested to check this out at the end of the day, but I don't think that price tag for upgraded components is going to warrant it. We shall see. Right, tweak the rest of this. And I better start wrapping this up because I gotta go to my game club tonight. But, you know, okay, what are we going to look at in terms of pick of the month? That's a tricky one, actually, because it's hard to really recommend, like, stuff that I already know about. Like, I mean, Paperback is an example, and I don't know much about Mindbug. This one looks intriguing. I mean, I'd be tempted to give this one a pick, but then again, I don't know if the price tag warrants it. I just know that it looks absolutely gorgeous. Not really. I'm tempted by the Terminus one, actually. And I know people might be saying, oh, that's just because you like Earth. But honestly, bear in mind, I've just talked about Wild Gardens, right? Looks beautiful, but this is going to cost you like over $100 to get with those wooden tokens, right? Okay, this one wants to charge you $900. This one wants to charge you $85 before you even add add-ons. This one wants $200 off you. It's nice to see. Oh yeah, and this one wants $120. $180 if you want some of the other bits, and granted a lot of this stuff looks cool, but again it wants that. This one's $55, and it's giving you metal coins in the box. So honestly, you gotta give props for value here. Only 2,500 people are backing this because, and well, I mean, I say only, that's still a decent amount of people, but I'm surprised it's not doing better given how well Earth did, but maybe it's just because it's so cheap. I mean, look at this. 51 euros, $55, and it's got all this stuff in it. I mean, that's a pretty good deal. Honestly, it sounds like an interesting game. Looks decent, looks good quality. The mechanics sound, you know, meaty. It looks like it's going to have some room for, you know, asymmetric style play, and, you know, and to get a thumbs up from Vitalis Serders, not a bad deal either, given that he likes meat. Obviously he makes all the meaty games, so be interesting to see. I'm intrigued. Now, will the component quality for everything else be good? That's the only worry, because it's not like Earth had fantastic component quality. It had great artwork, well, it had great photography, but I wouldn't say it necessarily conquered the market in terms of component quality, but the game is really good fun. So will this game be really good? I don't know, but I'm going to give this one my pick of the month, Terminus. I'm certainly intrigued to try this. I may be even tempted to back it just because the price I feel is quite reasonable for what you're getting. These other ones, you know, are struggling to give me an incentive to want to back them at high prices. Well, actually, not this one. This one's really cheap. But, you know, Teotihuacan, Elder Scrolls, Thorgal, Santorini, even Wild Gardens. I mean, all of these are demanding a lot of money off me. Terminus, on the other hand, looks like it's giving me quite a lot of game for a relatively low price tag. So, pick of the month goes to Terminus. Right. There we go. Another hour, another list of Kickstarters. So, you know, will it continue this way? I mean, typically more Kickstarters start appearing during the year. And, you know, I'm very much more picky on Kickstarters these days. So, I don't tend to back a lot of Kickstarters, period, because I mean, it's not like I haven't got enough games. I feel like I want to play the games I've got. And if I'm acquiring brand new ones, I need to know that they play well first. And it's difficult to gauge whether they're going to be good to play on something like Tabletop Simulator or Board Game Arena, because you don't have the components in your hand to feel. You don't have the right play length, because everything on Tabletop Simulator takes twice as long to play, and everything on Board Game Arena takes half the time to play. So I need to know what it's like to play in real life. So I need the physical thing in front of me to gauge if I like the game or not. You know, watching playthroughs doesn't really do it for me either, because it doesn't matter if so-and-so likes it. You know, I need to know if I like it. It's a different story. So, you know, I'm not backing a lot of Kickstarters these days anymore. I'm mainly just waiting for other ones to arrive. I mean, you know, the Pursuit of Happiness one, you know, that's still due. The Vindication expansion I've been waiting ages for. Is there anything else I'm waiting on? I can't think of many. I think most of my... Oh, yes, Stellaris. That's going to take forever. That might have been a waste of money. So, I'm just a bit more choosy with my money. That's not a mean tight. I'm just being a bit more... You know, given that we're in a cost of living crisis in the UK, I think the idea of saving your money might not be a bad idea. Just saying, okay? But, yeah, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap this one up here. So, I hope you've enjoyed this Kickstarter roundup. Let me know your thoughts about the games I've talked about. Do they sound good to you? Have you actually played them? Particularly if you've actually played them, let us know your thoughts on these games. And, you know, is anything that I've said, you know, well... Is there anything you agree or disagree with? By all means, let us know in the comments. So that's it for me. Remember, as always, it's only a game. It's your money, so spend it wisely. Take care, and I'll see you next time.